Welcome to the Mac and Jack Attack.
And I'm Mac.
And I'm Jack. And I just put out a video. Oh man. Okay, I don't even know if I would call this a review, but then that's the closest thing that I could think of it, because it's not really a critique or anything like that either. I don't know. Now that's what the fuck is the difference between a critique and a review? I'm kind of rambling. But yeah, I made a video on Yakuza Like a Dragon. It's a game that I really love, and just go watch the video. It's really good. It's only 5 minutes.
You should really check it out. It's really I sound really biased, but it's really good though. So when I saw when he said it to me in the video, because I knew he was gonna do it, but with all honesty, I expected to be okay, this is gonna sound really mean, but I thought it was gonna be boring. But after watching it, it's I actually stuck through it to the end. It got me to play Yakuza for a whole day and continuation afterward.
Yeah. Granted, it's only a 5-minute video, so it's not I can't bore you that easily in 5 minutes.
Honestly, though,
I hope I don't bore you that easily in 5 minutes, because we make a podcast that usually goes on for an hour.
That's true. Our dynamic would be so terrible. Can you imagine? Hey, man, this is a good game. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And that would be boring as shit. And we wouldn't, no one would want to listen to that.
Yeah, dude.
So, yeah. Did you have any questions on
Actually,
yeah.
I did. I really did. All right. So, okay. So here's the dilemma, right?
Mm-hmm.
If anything, that hella inspired me. I mean, I think I've been talking to you about making a review at one point, right?
Yeah, we talked about Cyberpunk, and I think you wanted to do something with that eventually.
Dude, here's the thing. I was so mad at myself. Okay, so well, for anyone that's watching the podcast, one thing to know about me, I am a little bit competitive. I'm trying to dial it down, but it's still there. When I saw his review, bro, I was I gotta do better, bro. I gotta make it good. And I'm over here, right? Mm-hmm. This is how I was gonna structure my review at one point. I was just gonna talk about it without just talk about it, just this this platform, just podcast type platform.
Yeah.
But when I saw your video, I was like, damn it, I should have recorded my gameplay, bro. Oh my gosh. Honestly, one of the biggest questions I have actually is how do you find the time, man? Yeah, that's just because when I tried making the review, I tried getting into the notes, stuff like that, but I never really got the time to really establish that with school and all. So how did you do it?
So yeah, about time. On some social media pages, I was I made this for my free time. I had nothing to do. No, that time was actually time that I should have been spending doing homework. So I am very behind in my classes. Classes just started recently for me. Yeah, so luckily, a lot of the times whenever I play a new game, I'm always kind of just all right, I'm gonna record just in case I want to do something with this. I've always wanted to make a video on something. I've just never really had that push to make a video until Yakuza Like a Dragon. So I've already had gameplay for a few good hours. I had the first maybe 3 or 4 chapters of the game recorded. I didn't want to record more than that, just because I was all right, if I am going to make a video, I don't want to show anything more than I need to. I don't want to spoil anyone on anything, which I feel in my video alone, I kind of did in a sense. But a lot of the things that I did put in my video had no context on the story as a whole. Some people might have wanted more, some people might have wanted less, but I feel with what I put in, it was enough to make people interested in something that they weren't aware of. So I had footage already just because of that, so I didn't have to worry too much about going to record more footage, which I did very little. And luckily for Yakuza, all of the games, they have a cutscene viewer, so if I needed a cutscene, I would just go and look at it and then record that. As for the scripts, honestly, most of the script I wrote in one night, just because I was inspired. I was just like, all right. It was before I even beat the game. I was just like, all right, I need to write something. I have all these feelings about this game that I just fucking love right now. I don't even know how it's going to end, but this is what I have to say. So that is kind of a downfall, honestly, is because like I didn't really go back to the script afterwards, after I beat the game, and I was just like, all right. So the script is something that I really did want to work on more, but like I told you before we started recording, I wanted to give myself a deadline, which was January 28th, the PC release for Yakuza 3, 4, and 5. And I made a deadline. I got it out the day I made that deadline. And it wasn't really a video that I made for the sake of having a Yakuza video. It was a video for, can I make a video that I am content with? If people watch this, will they be interested? So it's not like, it isn't a full review by any means. But I just wanted to see if I could capture anyone's attention, which you said earlier. It's like, it made you, I did enough to make you finish the video. So I did my job.
Yeah, it captured me. It was okay. The thing that got me the most was honestly the out of context stuff right there. Because, like, okay, so again, I didn't play any of the Yakuza games. The one that Jackie made me start off was Yakuza 0.
Yep.
And even then, I haven't really finished. I just didn't have the time. But, like, it was the out of context, like, footage that you have in the background that was like, okay, this has piqued my interest. I must get back in this game. I must see the naked man dancing in the background. It was very interesting how you were able to captivate me in the video, because again, after that, I just wanted to play Yakuza.
Yeah.
It was very interesting, but like the other thing as well is like how were you able to like, because it feels like when making a review, it's hard to not spoil it, and it feels like, granted, Yakuza seems very there's a lot of out of context things that you can put in there.
Yeah, definitely.
But like, it just feels like, what about other games that, well, that's not, this may sound like off-putting, but granted, like I said, Yakuza is a great game because of its out of context. But like, what about a game that's like directly straightforward, stuff like that? How do you even talk about that? Because it feels like that's like a hurdle for me whenever I try to, if I ever want to review a game. Because, for example, Last of Us 2, there's one specific part that I hate about the game.
Yeah.
That I want to express, but how do I express it without giving it away?
I guess for me, like, okay, I do watch a lot of like media coverage of games that I want to get to, unless it's a game that I want to go in completely blind. But for instance, like Yakuza and The Last of Us, it's like I kind of just listen to as much as like the developers talk about the story, and then I'm kind of like, all right, that's how far I should go with how much I'm explaining about the story. Yeah, so I don't want to get like into spoilery stuff. I know, like for example, that Last of Us 2 like portion that you're talking about, I'll just be like, something shitty something really shitty happens, and then Ellie sets out on a really long and slowly paced adventure.
Boom, right there. That's the point of the game. Don't get it. Anyway, regardless, another thing as well is like, I know Yakuza is your game, right? That is your, like, that's what inspired you, right? But like, you said you did it in one night. That's basically. Would you say that the deadline you gave yourself is also what inspired you, or is that like something? Is that basically what I'm trying to say? Is that was the deadline a good idea? Because it feels like if it feels like, for me, my personal opinion, it feels like if I ever did that to myself, I would just rush it, and then it would, and I don't know, it just wouldn't meet to my standards. You know what I mean?
See, I feel like for me having a deadline, it actually made me it made me want to gather my thoughts in a more condensed way. I didn't want to add more to it, because if I added more, it means I would have had to get more footage. But it also means that like I feel like people work best when they are under pressure.
Mm-hmm.
So if I didn't give myself a deadline, I could still be making that video now. And I don't
Right.
know if I would be happy with the end product if I just have like all these like jumbled thoughts put together. Because already, even though I only had a 5-minute video and like a good 30 seconds of that wasn't even a part of my video,
Right.
I feel like I had all of my thoughts together enough. I kind of lost my train of thought right now. I don't know what I'm talking about anymore. Not gonna lie.
It's all good.
But
But actually, go ahead.
yeah, I was able to just do and put what I wanted to put, even though I did want to add more. I like. Oh, this is what I was gonna say. Like, I was already having enough troubles like stringing my thoughts together, even though this video is fairly short. If I had it any longer, it would have been way harder to string things together. Like, I feel like I did a good enough job, like talking about how, like, the story changed from the gameplay aspect, or may have changed from the gameplay aspect. You know, so, that's one of the reasons why I gave myself a deadline, because, like, man, if I didn't have that deadline, like I said, I could still be working on this video. I could be working on this video for the next 5 months, and I don't know if I'd be happy with it.
Okay, if let's say you did had 5 months, how do you think it would have panned out in terms of like, because to me personally, it feels like it feels like, yeah, you should have some sort of deadline, but the way you described it, you kind of gave yourself like a really short deadline. But like I said, it ended up really good. How long do you think, if there was basically, wow, I'm jumbling everywhere, but then again, I drank a lot of coffee. Anyway, basically what I'm trying to say is like, what would you have added in the video if you were to have that stretch of a deadline? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I definitely would have added more flaws to it. I think one of my biggest problems with making this video was like, I didn't really have a purpose, like I was mentioning earlier. I didn't have a purpose of why should you play this game? Why should you play this game first out of all the Yakuza games? I kind of like talked about that a little bit, but then I was like, it wasn't a consistent argument or anything like that I was bringing up. I was kind of just talking about the things I liked about the game.
Isn't that the point though? Because like, that's what I got out of the thing. Like you even said yourself in the video, like you don't have to start in the beginning. You could technically just delve into it and know what's going on.
Yeah, there's that. Like, I did change the title because originally I had it as why you should start with like a dragon, but now I have it's reworking a franchise, because I did talk more about how, I don't even know if I could say that I talked more about it, but then like, this is what I mean. I didn't have a like consistent through line, I feel like, because I was comparing the games a lot, but then I don't know. This is why I can't really say that this is a full review. This is just something that I wanted to make. But yeah, yeah, I don't know. Reviewing is hard as hell.
You know what? I was gonna say that, like, it seems like you went through a lot.
I did, dude.
It's really funny because he texted me about it, saying that this review is not a joke, bro. It's real. Like, this isn't a joke.
Yeah.
So how about you tell me what the process was? I mean, especially with everything going on. I mean, you prioritize this over schoolwork. So like, what was like going through your head? Like, what's up with that? Like, how'd you get through it?
Honestly, it was just that deadline. I don't want to be walking in circles about this, but then I was just like, okay.
Because like you mentioned me that it was technically, you said it was harder than you thought, right?
Yeah.
What did you initially thought it was going to be?
I thought that I had all the footage that I needed when I really didn't. I thought that like,
really?
Yeah, because I had a lot of trouble. I think my biggest problem is not having, like, I don't know what to put in between, like, the like basically during the downtime, if I'm not talking about something directly, I don't know what to put on screen. So
Yeah.
it's just really learning how to edit videos. I've never edited a video before, so that was what was
Wait,
so
so
difficult.
what did you do first? Did you do the audio work first and then the footage, or did you do the footage and then the audio work?
I did the audio. I did the script, audio, and then video.
Got you. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. All right. To be
Yeah.
fair, that's actually pretty normal.
Yeah. So I don't know what the structure is for making a review, but this is what I got so far, and yeah, okay. But yeah, anyways, I don't want to talk about myself too much. It's been like 16 minutes almost, so yeah. So just coming from making something on my own, it made me really realize how much shit like YouTubers go through. Because like they'll be making like fucking hour long like retrospectives on a single game sometimes, and I'm just like, dude, what the fuck? Like, how do you analyze all this shit? How do you have all this footage? How do you do all your research? I don't understand it. Like,
It depends though, man, because
Yeah.
like I'm not saying, I mean, I'm not a YouTuber.
yeah,
So I wouldn't know, but I could imagine, because like I know other YouTubers especially reviewers that I watch. I mean, the max is like about an hour, 35 minutes.
yeah,
But whenever they release a video, it takes like months.
yeah, that's true.
So I could.
And some people are full time with this shit, and I was literally spending like 3 or 4 hours a day. Well, in the span of 2 weeks, like 3 or 4 hours a day on it. So
Wait, how long did it take you to make this again? Because you
I
said
have
it
no
took you.
idea, but
Okay.
yeah, my deadline was 2 weeks like from the day that I created that deadline, Yeah.
Damn. And that was only 5 minutes.
and that was only 5 minutes, man. It's because I don't know
jeez.
how to edit videos, but if I learn, probably. This has inspired me to do a lot more.
Okay.
I will like condense that shit a lot easier, and I will record clips that aren't hours long, because that was really hard to see what I needed in each clip.
Who inspired you?
Like
Like,
format
is there any
wise,
reviewers? Well, it's pretty evident that you watch reviewers. Mine personally is, this may be a shout out, but I do like the guy, Angry Joe Show, and Rant On.
Yeah. Well, not them two at all. A lot of probably the biggest like inspiration for me is a guy named Foxcade. He doesn't make that many like reviewing videos, but he did like a series retrospective on Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, and all that, and like that's something that I was like super into because I'm super into those games. And the Gaming Brit, Hyperbit Hero, they're a lot more like smaller, like not necessarily smaller, but smaller than like Angry Joe. They're not like mainstream like that. It's more
Yeah.
niche, but just the way that they kind of talk about the games and how like you can kind of feel the passion in the series that they talk about. So that's something that like inspired me, because I don't like to be objective, or quote unquote objective. Like there's not really something that you can consider objective, because art is subjective and gaming is an art. Blah blah blah. So I don't like to be objective. I like to be passionate. So that's why when I talk about these games, this game, not these yet. This game, it's like I'm talking from a very like biased and passionate point of view. But that's me. Like I don't want to shit on a game because
Can
I
that
don't
work
like
for a
it.
review game though?
What is that?
Can that actually work for a review game? Because when you review a game, you have to be fair. I don't think being
See, and that's what I wanted to get into, just because like, dude, like I don't like the like okay, like earlier last year, I wanted to become a gaming journalist. I wanted to review games.
Yeah.
And I just couldn't, because I was like, okay, well, I just don't like this game. Like it's not because it's not because like it's bad. Like, there's a lot of good things about this game. I'm not talking about any game in particular, but I'm just like talking about.
Yes, you are.
Okay.
Just kidding. Go ahead.
Well, right now, I could actually talk about a game that where I'm feeling that way, which is The Medium. We talked very briefly about it, but it's like, this is a game that is trying to be as Silent Hill as possible, and it really is.
Yeah.
They made Layers of Fear, and that was trying to be PT, and then they're making this, and it's like trying to be Silent Hill, in a sense. Like, I don't want to say that is their point, but then like you can see that like they got the guy who made the soundtrack for Silent Hill on this game.
Yeah.
So it's like it's really trying to get that nostalgia factor in a way, and I feel like that game, it's not for me because I didn't play Silent Hill like 1, 2, 3 or anything like that. I haven't really played a Silent Hill game, to be honest. But it's like people who enjoy those games might enjoy this game, but I know that they won't because like this game is doing that concept in a really boring way.
Yeah, I mean, I could confirm this because I played Silent Hill. I don't think it's a clone though. It does feel like its own thing. It's just more of a. I do agree. It could get a bit boring. What killed it for me was that it was way too linear.
It is very linear, and
it's very
like,
linear.
Okay, now we're kind of just like reviewing The Medium, but but it's like that game is really not for me. I thought it was gonna be for me. It's really not. I don't want to finish it. I don't want to push myself to finish a game because, like, if I don't like something, I'm not gonna want to finish it. If I don't want to finish something, why should I review it? I don't have the right to review something that I haven't finished.
Would you consider that as a job though? Because if it is a job, you're obligated to do it.
Yeah, it is a job, and you know, I don't want to do the job that I'm doing right now, but I still do it. It's money,
Good point.
but it's like that will also sway your opinion on a game, and I feel like it's hard. Gaming is a very hard thing to critique because it's more than just one thing that you're critiquing. You're critiquing not just the gameplay, but you're critiquing the art, the music, like the performance is something that, like, you know.
Okay, but here's the thing about that, what you said there, right? Like, I get it. It is subjective. It's art. But can we, well, tell me right now, there are such things that are really bad games.
Yeah.
Like, super fucking bad. Like, there's just, it's unplayable. It's just bad.
Cyberpunk.
Why'd you go there, man? You don't have to go there. Anyway. Okay, first of all, it's getting better. But, okay, besides that, what's that one game that was like super... Okay, fine. You know what? Let's go for Cyberpunk.
Damn it, I actually want to know what you're going to say instead. I'm sorry.
No. It's all good. Because, like, okay, I wanted to bring up a point. Like, what's that one game called? It was so bad. I saw Angry Joe's review, and I saw about other reviewers review it, actually. And it was just really bad. I think it's Ride to Hell.
Oh, yeah, Ride to Hell.
Right.
Yeah.
Is that the right game?
Yeah.
I played it, and it was just... It's playable, but... I just hate the game. I mean, it's pretty evident that the mass, if you look at the review, it's just shitty, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I get that it's art, but at the same time, I don't know if a game is that bad, right?
Yeah.
I think we have every right to just shit on it at that point, because depending on the situation of how the developers made the game, if it's like a small even small teams make better games.
Yeah.
I think we have the right to shit at it at that point. I think it could be classified as a bad game.
Yeah, like, I don't disagree with that, but then I feel like at the same time, if you're playing a game as a job and you're forced to beat it, it's not the same as you playing a game on your own and beating it for your own enjoyment.
Right.
Like,
okay, I get that.
Like I didn't really enjoy The Last of Us 2. Like I told you many times, like the pacing is just horrible. Like that's my main problem with the game is make me walk in areas that I don't want to walk. I want to do things, which, that's just me as a gamer. I'm not into that.
Right.
So it's just like, I still finished the game because I wanted to see it through to the end.
Right.
So it's just like, but if it was you, for instance, like, you don't want to play this game at all.
Which one? Last of Us?
Yeah, did you
Last
play
of Us
it?
2?
Yeah.
Yeah, I played it, but fuck that game.
Yeah, did you beat it?
No.
Exactly. So if you were forced to beat that game, would you still think that you would have the same, like, thoughts on it?
See, that's the thing that scares me about being a reviewer, because it's a job, you're obligated to do it, right? If you're getting paid, that kills it for games. It feels like I would hate playing games. And it's honestly, just to answer your question, I would have the same. I mean, it's not impossible for a game to turn my feeling towards the game, like, from hate to I fucking like it now.
Yeah.
It's not impossible, but most of the time, no. I just don't see the point of playing at it if it just ruined it for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a double-edged sword, to be honest with you, because, like,
and it really is.
It's one of those things where at that point it feels like you're reaching critique level. You're critiquing a game. What's that term again? Like, what's the difference between being a reviewer and critiquing, or being is that the word?
Critic?
Is that the right? A critic. There it is. Yeah. What's the difference? Because, like, I don't know if this, like, okay, correct me if I'm wrong here, right? If you're watching a movie, right, it feels like these critics they over exaggerate the movie, like, to a point where it's just like, it's impossible, but it just feels like that's a movie just to watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
But for video games, it feels like their expectations were too wow, I feel like that hits me all the time every time I say that. Their expectations too high, to the point where they critique at every single point, where the point is that the game is a game. Does that make any sense? Yeah. So, I don't know. What about you? Like, what do you think the difference between a reviewer and a critic? Even if is there even a difference at all? Or maybe I'm just getting that wrong.
I don't know how I would differentiate the two. Like, honestly. Because I guess, like, I don't know. I don't want to sound...
Because at the end of the day, right? Game is a game. It really just is a game. Because I know people... Okay, so I'm going to bring back Cyberpunk.
Yeah.
It's... Besides the... How do I put this? The technical stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
There... correct me if I'm wrong, but there's people comparing the two with GTA and Cyberpunk, saying how it's better than Cyberpunk. I mean, don't get me wrong, you have every right to, but, like, at the same time, it's like, it feels like whenever that happens, I mean, it comes in reviews, right, comparing a game, which they have every right to. Mm-hmm. It just kind of dogs people down that enjoy the game even more. But at the end of the day, right, it's still a double-edged sword, because people that enjoy the game, why do you even fucking care?
Right.
It's if you enjoy the game, fuck it, you enjoy the game. I mean, another example is that I love Mass Effect Andromeda, and people hate that game.
Still have not played it, but yeah.
It's alright. I mean, it's okay. But regardless, I don't know. I think that's one thing that scares me if ever I want to review a game. I think I like the idea of what you did. I don't want it to become like, I don't know if I'm, like, wording this right. I hope you get me on this one, but, like, I don't want to review a game and become those critics. I just want to review a game because it's fun.
Yeah.
Right? Hopefully I could persuade you to play this game and give it a chance. Right? And for someone that, well, then again, it's subjective, but it is what it is. I think that's where the enjoyment comes from when reviewing a game. Because I don't know how it, like, tell me how you feel when you, remember the day when you talked to me, we talked to, like, 3:00 in the morning about Yakuza, because I was interested.
Yeah.
You convinced me. How did that make you feel, honestly?
For one thing, I've never convinced anyone before, so I was fucking ecstatic.
Really? No, that's bullshit. Because okay, just for context, when he told me about Yakuza, bro, He was technically a car salesman selling for his life. It convinced me so good. I think I bought it the same day. Or no. I don't think I bought it the same day, but it convinced me to buy it.
You bought it like later on in that week, and I was like, all right, let me watch you play a little bit.
I don't know. That to me, when I like that feeling that I convinced someone. Well, I like that feeling of convincing someone to play a game that I love, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know. That's one thing that scares me about being a reviewer, because it's not everyone's gonna have the same opinion yours, and there's some assholes in the internet. Not even some. The internet are filled with assholes.
Yeah.
And if your opinion doesn't comply with theirs, bro, you have no taste in games.
It's like, fuck you. You're not a gamer.
Bro, you're trash. So I don't know, man. It's like, it's that to me like turns me off big time. Very big time. And it's just like you said, it's an art. A game is art.
See,
it's subjective.
And that's honestly one of the reasons why I was just like, all right, I don't want to be a game journalist, is just because like I don't want it to be my job to play games, for one thing, in a short amount of time and write something immediately. I want to like let things brew, and just like, because when I play a game that I really love, I'm really passionate about it, and like I could talk for hours about it if I really wanted to.
Yes.
Like, and like when you read reviews or watch like IGN reviews, it's kind of like you don't know whose voice is like wrote that or who's saying that. Really, it's just like, all right, this is just some random guy, like, you know, I don't know.
Wait, what do you mean by that?
Like for bigger review companies like IGN, Kotaku, and all that, like I don't necessarily know who the writer of this article is. Like I could get to know them, I could go read who they are and all that, but it's just like, that's more work.
Good point.
So that's why I keep to watching certain reviewers, or like I watch smaller groups.
Even then, what's the difference though?
The difference is I know who is talking to me. I know who's like, I know this person, like not in a personal way, but I know what they're into. Am I into those games? Yeah, I might enjoy this game then. Do I know this person doesn't like this game? I may not enjoy that. I could still try it out. I might like it because, like, of course, opinions are different. But it's like I have a better basis to go off of if I know who I'm like watching, like hearing, and like what their opinions are. So that's why, like why do you watch Angry Joe? You know?
Oh, he's funny and it's cringe.
But do you have like a good understanding of the kinds of games that he enjoys?
Yeah, I mean, like, the cool thing about him, honestly, is that it seems like he's mainly an RPG guy, an RPG story, and that's what I'm into.
Exactly.
If I were, I'm gonna take some shots a little bit. I'm gonna give a little bit of shots. It does feel that he's a bit biased in certain things. I'll give the audience that, but overall, the reason why I like him is because we have similar taste in games.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much it. And he's very, honestly, it's the passion. I could hear the passion whenever he does reviews in games.
Yeah, he wouldn't be as angry if he wasn't as passionate, you know?
Exactly.
He would just be Joe.
That's so mundane. Yeah, Joe. But I think that's what takes away from a reviewer like that. It's honestly the passion. I mean, they put like an hour in a video, which probably takes months of making, right? And when you finally watch it, it's you. For me personally, I get reeled in because one, he has proof of the things he says, and two, it's he just sounds very passionate about it, and I could appreciate that because we're paying money to buy these games, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We don't want to just get into it expecting that it's good. What if it's shit? I mean, again,
because like, okay, to bring it back to The Last of Us 2, it got like a shit ton of 9s and 10s, but then the fan base is like, no, fuck this shit. You know?
Yeah, it's. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's one of those things where it's the way I see it, right? Like, I'm gonna bring it like also back with the IGN stuff. This may sound weird, but IGN, GameSpot, all that other mainstream reviewers, it feels like they're corporate. They're getting paid to review these games. That's why they get all these high ratings. But then you see these like user reviewers and it's just shit. That's why I tend to watch like Angry Joe, Ranton, and all these other reviewers, because it feels like, this may sound weird and this is just my opinion only, but it feels like they're the people's reviewers.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that I fuck with that because they're looking out for the little guy. That's what I see, at least. Granted, Angry Joe, the people I mentioned are mainstream, but I don't feel they're that mainstream to the point where corporate would just like, hey, we'll pay you if you get this. Like, I don't think Angry Joe, I think he even stated this in some of his videos, that he doesn't even get like, what's that, review copies? Is that the right term?
Yeah.
Because he's been like, I think on the hit list on like
the blacklist on.
Yeah, he's on the blacklist because he talks a lot of shit. I really appreciate that because, dude, that's fucking honesty. Like when it comes to reviews, and this is, I don't know, in terms of the question, like, can you even trust reviewers if they get a review copy?
Like
that scares me. Like,
it does scare me too.
I get it, and honestly, that's great. You gotta save money somehow, right? If you get a free copy to review it, good. But at that point, it feels like if you shit talk the game. I mean, I guess it happened. I could be wrong. I could have sworn he said something like that. They're just gonna blacklist him because he was being honest, and that sucks. So I don't know. It doesn't. It feels like people that do that, and forgive me for saying this, and I get it. I get why reviewers would do this. It's a good way to save money, but it's hard to. It doesn't feel like a review at that point. It just feels like you're sucking their dick.
Yeah.
So that's scary. I don't know about that. I really don't know about that. I don't know. How do you feel about that?
It's kind of a mixed feeling for me, just because like I guess the biggest upside for review copies is they get the game early, so then they do get to play the game. And like for me, I do watch like the Easy Allies, which they're a group of like 8 guys, and then they like have their own reviews and shit, and it is pretty professional. They used to be the Game Shellers guys, and like I don't know what the business side of things look like for them. I don't know if they're getting paid, but like just the way that they talk about games, and I like, because they are also personalities, so I can get their like I understand what they're into too,
Right.
So I can understand what they would not like from a game, and I understand what like goes into one of their reviews and all that. So I can get a good judgment, and probably the company that I hear the most of for like review copies came from them is PlayStation, because like for every PlayStation video that there is, it's always like review copy provided by PlayStation, and a lot of first party PlayStation games are fucking fantastic. So it's kind of like, okay, I don't know how to judge that then.
Good point. But even then, it's one of those things where it's I want to understand, but me personally, it's I just can't trust reviewers that do that. But
yeah,
it is what it is. It really is what it is.
Like it does feel a lot nicer to have someone be in our shoes, where we like have to spend $60 on a game and we're all in the same place. That is nice to have. Like, it's like credibility almost, having it buy your own game if you're gonna review it.
That's true. That's really true. But times are changing, man.
Yeah, they really are.
Ooh. But to be honest, though, do you see yourself doing that at one point? Like, would you ever? Well, to be fair, I think anyone would accept that opportunity. But would you still be honest?
I would,
even if it makes you like this.
I would be. I really would
Really?
be. Like, if I was to get a free copy of the Medium early and was told to review it, I'd be like, nah, I'd give this a 5. It's in the Medium. See that fun there? Hey.
Hey, snap, badum, crash.
Exactly. Because it's like, games, like you said earlier, even when they're shit, they're still shit. And I gotta say that too, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It'd be nice to get free copies of shit.
That's true.
But then,
I mean, you
like,
can't hide it. You really can't hide it.
You can't hide it. But it's like, people gotta know who they're dealing with too, you know? Like,
What do you mean?
like I'm pretty sure people on the marketing end of like gaming, like the game industry, where they send out the review copies, I'm pretty sure they have to do their research on who the fuck this person is before they actually even send out that copy. Otherwise, like, you know, because if I do get a review copy for a game that like I'm not gonna like, and they know that I'm not gonna like it, they're not gonna send it to me, you know?
That's a good point. I mean, you got a point. You got a point. That is on their end. I mean, like, why would they do that? That just wouldn't make any sense. But it is what it is. How would you feel about like companies not giving out review copies at all, though? Does that send a weird message or not?
No, because that's how things have been for like ever. Like, yeah, you know, there is the difference of timing. Like, it makes sense on why they do send out review copies, so then they could, like, it's, I mean, I don't know if it's free, but it's like free marketing for them, you know?
Oh yeah. Okay,
So,
get that. I get that. Makes sense. It makes sense.
yeah, but I don't want to be a reviewer. is the point that I'm getting at. Like, I made this video because I'm passionate about something. Like,
Nah, it's honestly, it feels like that should be a thing now. Because, like, no matter what people say, I mean, don't get me wrong, the masses are usually at one side. But it's one of those things where as long as you enjoy, like, for anyone that wants to make, I guess, quote, review of a game, just, dude, enjoy. If you enjoy the game, just fucking be honest about it. It really is. Even if it sounds like a sales pitch, the fact that you're having fun and you like doing it, just fuck it. Why not? Who gives a fuck what people say? So, yeah, it is what it is. You call yourself a reviewer, or you could call or don't. Doesn't really fucking matter. It is what it is. As long as you're having fun.
Yeah. People should hire me, though. I feel like I was pretty convincing with making you buy Yakuza. But it doesn't help that I did say you're the first and pretty much the only person that I convinced.
I mean, like, okay, time out. Who else did you convince? Like, there's no way. Because, like, the way you made it sound, for someone that doesn't know Yakuza, holy shit, it was pretty good. Like, it piqued my interest. Like, what was one story that stand out to me? Like, because you kept showing me videos. The one with the, what's that called? That one action sequence, like, you would tell me that it gets serious, and then the side stories, bro, it was just weird.
Yeah.
And I'm over here just like, okay, I have to give this a shot. And not only that, he showed me this one song. What's that song from Yakuza?
Bakamikai?
There it is. You see, I'm not gonna lie, man. It hits, bro. It hits. I actually, it got to a point where I would listen to it while I'm driving.
I do singing too. Like, out of, like, unironically listen to this song, and I actually, like, learned some of the lyrics. Not bragging.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
But yeah, man, that's it was a pretty nice video, at least on my point of view. It was pretty good. I liked it. So for anyone that wants to hire him, though,
just don't make me do the editing for the video. I can do the script writing and shit like that. But yeah, anything else? No.
This podcast is officially his resume at this point.
What's up?
Oh my god.
All right, but yeah, was there anything else that you wanted to add on before we end this?
I think I pretty much covered it, or we pretty much covered it. We covered everything.
All right. Well, thank you, as always, for joining us on this episode of the Mac and Jack Attack.
Yes.
Hey guys, just want to say thank you for giving us a listen. Please, if you can, like, comment, and also subscribe. And also check us out on other platforms such as Spotify, Twitch, and also on iTunes. That'll all be provided in the link in the description below. And also give out the review a check, which will also be provided in the link in the description below. So, y'all have a good one. Thank you.